Hello, the name is Daman Dev Sood. Welcome to my weekly show, My Top Tips, every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. IST. Every week, I pick up a topic of concern to me, which I believe is a topic of concern to you also. A topic about business continuity management, crisis management, risk management, disaster recovery, information security, environment, sustainability, or any other topic of concern to the society for the benefit of society. And I provide my top tips in quick 15 minutes, which is the intention. Today, I may take long because the topic is different. I started talking about third party risk management. Last week, we touched upon contracts, few portion of the contracts. A contract is a very strong tool in your hands if you want to manage the risks associated with your third parties. So today's topic, going deep, turning contracts into risk shields with third parties. I'm going to give you 150 plus points to be put into the contract. While the focus is on third-party contracts or contracts with third parties, these points are valid for any other contracts also. And the discussions may take longer than 15 minutes because 150 points to be touched upon. Just reading, not even discussing. So A to Z of contents of a third-party contract. Starting with the agreement identification. This is all that should go into your contract. The details about client and its alternate contacts. And then details about your third party and alternate contacts. Signing date, start date, end date. Duration of the contract. And if there is any reference ID, which may be according to your system that you are using. B is business exit and termination points. So termination notice period, early termination allowed, yes or no, then early termination conditions, all possible termination clauses to be included. C is coverage of services or scope. So list of services or products to be provided to be taken from the third party. Location of full scope. Change management. D is delivery and SLAs. So all SLAs that have been included should be listed in the contract. Is there any penalty clause? Then what is the penalty? Are there any incentives for performing well? Then amount or rate of incentives also. What is the frequency of SLA reporting? Now, this is reporting, but this may also be of monitoring at your own end. Who will receive the SLA reports? Where will these metrics be kept? E is expenses and payment. So what is the total value of the contract? What is the currency? What is the billing frequency? Billing amount every time? Payment terms, whether it is 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or even if it's immediate. The currency of payment, the mode of payment, whether this is check or online transfer. For example, if there is any late payment clause. So this is third party raising bill to you. And if you delay in payment, could there be any penalties to you? Late payment rate of interest, tax details if there are any tax to be deducted. F is framework for governance, which is very important. So has the governance committee been defined? Who are in the governance committee? What is the frequency of meeting? Members, names, details. So when I say name of members, you may like to have full contact details also. Then have you included the escalation metrics from both sides? Escalation will be required in any relationship at some point in time. Reporting procedure. And G is for goals for data protection, data privacy, clauses, sub-clauses. You are required to protect data. Equally, you will put it to your third parties also. So put this in the contract. Otherwise, your risk management is a little weaker. Data protection compliance mentioned. Which standard or act or provisions are to be followed by the third parties? Be clear about that, specific about that. Data processing agreement included. International data transfers allowed, yes or no? Wherever you are, wherever the third party is, wherever the data should, must reside, all should be written in the contract. Data breach notification clause, data breach notification points defined. Data breach notification points, what are those points? So first question is whether you have defined it or not, and then what are the content that also should come into your contract. H is for handling of subcontracts. Is subcontracting allowed? Can your third party have their own third parties? Prior consent required for this. Subcontractor list included, if known. Then their names, details also. I is for inspection and audit registration. Will you, can you audit your third parties? What will be the frequency of such audits? What is the notice period that you need to give for conducting the audit? Then the scope of audit, whether this will be financial, operational, security related, regulatory, contractual, or environmental. Some examples I mentioned here. J is for justification of confidentiality. So have you included confidentiality clause in your contract? Confidentiality, duration, post termination, if, when, whether this is natural termination, natural exit, or abnormal exit, what will be the duration of this confidentiality agreement? Definition of confidential information. What is confidential? K stands for key mechanisms for dispute resolution. So mechanism, escalation, points, arbitration clause. Have you included this or not? And what is the content of arbitration clause? What are the laws that will be governing this relationship? Can your third parties and you use mediators if there is a dispute ever in the relationship? Then details of mediators, so name, contact details, etc. all will come. L is for liaison and key contacts. Who is the signatory from your side? Their details. Who is the signatory from the third party? Their details. And always, as business continuity principle, alternates to be included. M is the mandatory insurances that you would ask, you would expect your third parties to have. So have you mentioned this? Few specifically I'm mentioning cyber insurance. Do you expect your third party to have a cyber insurance? Public insurance, do you expect them to have that? Then all other types of insurances that you expect them to maintain, an amount of each insurance. Have you or would you like to mention a cap on liability? Are there any exclusions? All this should be defined in the contract specifically. Have you included indemnity clause? N stands for network security and risk requirement. So cyber security requirements mentioned yes or no, and what are those requirements? What do you expect your third party to do with respect to cyber security in their environment, in their company? Risk management requirements, physical security requirements, and O stands for operational continuity, business continuity. You may like to have a lot in this, a lot of expectations from your third party. So have you mentioned, specified your BCM requirements, and what are those? The frequency of BCM review or BCP reviews, disaster recovery plan expectations included, yes or no? What is the recovery time objective, recovery point objective, and minimum business continuity objective that you expect your third parties to maintain? Can you audit your third party on BCM? What is the frequency of such audits? Can you be involved? Will you be involved? Do you expect to be involved in your third party's BCM tests? Do you expect your third parties to report any incidents happening to their organization, in their organization, to you? Do not forget the force majeure clause. A long discussion can be held about this force majeure clause. Again, I'll do that in some other show, some other episode. This is one of the most important ones. Written, not understood. Information security requirements, cyber security requirements. Do you expect your third parties to hold any certifications? Are these mandatory or optional? And which certificate do you want them to hold? P is protocols for contract administration, managing the contract. So contract manager has been defined. So his or her details from both sides. Has the change control process been defined? Q stands for quick reference schedules. A contract will have schedules and annexures. So mention those also. Are there any schedules? Total number and contents of each schedule should come into your contract. And similarly, any annexures. R is for compliance, regulatory compliance. Do you want your third parties to be compliant to any regulatory requirements, rules, regulations? So name those. Requirements with respect to data and information retention, duration also. And when we say retention, then we'll have to talk about the destruction also. When and how will your third party destroy the data? How will you delete this, which as I said? Then obligations with respect to compliance reporting and the frequency of such reporting. S stands for performance monitoring, supervision and performance monitoring. So have you identified, defined the key performance indicators for your third parties? Then what are those KPIs? What is the mechanism of tracking this performance? Then the reviews, frequencies, penalty clauses for poor performance, which will be reversed also. Incentives for good performance to be included. What is the frequency or what will be the frequency? And performance improvement plan. Your third party is not able to live to one particular expectation. That doesn't mean that you will kick them out. You will give them time. This is principle of risk management. You will give them a time to fix it. And if it gets repeated, then perhaps you'll think of an abnormal exit also. Moving towards the Z, A to Z of the contents of contracts with third parties, because I want you to make these as shields, risk management shields. So third party, T is third party support. What will be the days when your third party will be providing you the support, and also those days and the hours also. Is it 24/7? U is user onboarding. So third party onboarding and offboarding, very important points. Once again, in another episode, I'll just pick up one onboarding, offboarding topic only. Third party onboarding, offboarding requirements, have these been identified, defined in the contract? NDA requirements, when you are offboarding, what are the obligations that your third parties will need to continue, will have to continue to live to? V is vendor technology requirements. What technology will they be using? They are allowed to use from you, by you, including the AI usage policy. And the moment you expect your third parties to have AI usage policy, you first need to have your own in-house. And what are those contents? W is work ownership and IP rights. So has this clause, IPR clause, been defined, and what are the contents? X stands for X factor, ethical standards that you expect your third parties to maintain, to follow. So has ethics code of conduct been defined? What are the contents of that? Have ESG requirements been defined? What are the contents of those? Has the responsible policy been responsible sourcing policy being defined? Then content of this policy. Y is for yearly review and renewal. So nothing is stationary. Please have this in your contracts that you will be reviewing this. My recommendation is that the renewal is not automatic. There must be a performance review before the renewal happens. So is it auto renewal? Which is, if auto is not good according to me, then will you keep some negotiation time for before renewal? And performance change at renewal, you may like to change your metrics, make them more stringent or maybe relax. Both ways is possible. So this is how third party management itself is a big task, very important task in the organization. And the last one, the Z, is zero tolerance clauses. You may like to have some of these, like bribery or corruption is immediate exit, discrimination or harassment case, regulatory or non-compliance, regulatory non-compliance case, data breaches from at the third party, which may be hurting you. Unethical conduct is, many occasions would like to say, these are zero tolerance clauses. Define this space. While closing, I would like to say that I have published a book, My Experiments with Third-Party Risk Management, available globally. A full-length 3 days course based on that book. Certified third-party risk management specialist has been launched on 1st of this month, where I go deep into all these concepts. If you have any questions about today's discussion, converting contracts into risk management shields. So contents of the contract with third parties is what we discussed today, or about resilience as a whole, please feel free to write to me and I'll be happy to respond. Logging off. This is your host, Daman Devsooth, from my weekly show, My Top Tips, every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. IST. I look forward to seeing you all next Wednesdays. also, following Wednesdays also. Bye bye.